Hello, here another OCZ video. I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm heading to Corsair T. When I get there, I'm going to dock and sell the fucking shit that I got in my cargo, and then I'm going to test the conflict zones again and see what the costs are in for repairing. If, as I suspect, they are still astronomical, well, we'll come to that if it happens.
Target shields offline. Scan detected.
Now, while we're on our way, I got my balance up to 60.5 million thanks to getting the 5 million credits for being at rank 4.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
And for doing that, you get 2 rewards. The first is the bonus credits. The second is to once again start all over again with that tedious fucking grinding. And I have had a gutful of it because you get nothing in return. 5 million credits, big fucking deal. You make that no problem doing just regular trading. So I don't care about the bonus credits.
Fuel scooping complete.
And of course, if you want those weapons, the faction-specific ones, you are essentially going to have to do that grind for another 2 weeks.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Admittedly, only, and I use the term in inverted commas, only up to 750 merits. Which is still enough to be unbearably tedious and for you to be sick of the fucking sight of doing power play. As it is,
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
I say there's a high possibility I'm just not going to bother doing any other than 25 that I'm taking now for this entire week. It's only really the 4th week when you need that 750 minimum if you want that weapon.
Fuel scooping.
Now I wasn't sure if the conflict zones would still be here, so there they are. I can do that then to test the repairs. I'm not going to be trying too hard in the conflict zones. I'll get a few kills under my belt because I want to make sure I've got the repair build covered. But after that, I will intentionally get my shields down, take a couple of hits while trying to get out of there, and see how much they are back at the docking station, West Market. I do have a shield cell bank fitted now, but I'm not going to use it while I'm at that conflict zone, for reasons I've already told you.
Docking request granted.
Now, if I sound like I am far from enthusiastic about this,
Landing gear deployed.
well, there's good reason. I am far from enthusiastic about this.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
I am bored to fucking death of this game. And them constantly doing things to remove any sense of fun or whatever in this game. It just, you know, adds to it. I am sick of the endless fucking grind. I'm sick of the fact that no matter what you do, you don't really get anything for it. Yeah, because of the low demand, that profit there is nothing like what it should be. So even in trading, you know, if you bring the wrong commodity, you're not going to get everything that you're supposed to get. Anyway, alright, let's try this out.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Landing gear
I mean, the complete, you know, disintegration of any enthusiasm and any interest I had in the game has come about really because of the increase in the repair costs. There are two things that really sort of combined together to become the straw that broke the camel's back. The repair costs are one. The other is related to the repair costs. It's not an event or a thing in the game, it's a person. If you saw my last video, you've probably got a pretty good idea who that person is.
Frameshift drive.
Right, let's get this over with.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
because I didn't play yesterday, my reputations have been going down now. Neither of these sides are backed by the Empire, so it doesn't really matter who I fight for. Alright, well, let's get some credits together anyway and see if we can make sure I get these repair costs covered. Him down.
Target destroyed. Target shields offline.
Hold on.
Target destroyed. Under attack. Target shields offline. Under attack. Target destroyed. Under attack. Target shields offline. Under attack.
Okay, it looks like I'm about to start taking damage now, so all I'll do is take out this vulture if I can, and by that time I should have had some damage to the hull. My shields are now off. So I've barely been here and I'm already down to 70 something percent, and now it's time to get out of here. Because I'm now down to 54, 51, so it's now absolutely plummeting. Right, well, fuck it. Now what you saw there will actually be a very good example that I can use later on.
Request granted.
Now normally I wouldn't bother trying to dock straight away because I'm almost certainly going to scrape my way through the hatch, or whatever you want to call it, the access corridor, so I'm going to end up taking more damage, as you see. So I'm now down to 45.
Landing gear deployed. Docking successful.
Alright, let's see what it's up to. 1.6 million. So it hasn't been changed at all. It's still at the same levels that it was before. If we go into here, these are all of the changes. The hull is only 298,000, mind you, that's per unit. So bumping it up, so that's 1.634 million there. So that means there's only less than 400 to cover all of that. Well, just the thrusters alone are likely to come to more now. Okay, they're at 248. So anyway, I don't see how it will but nevertheless, so the repair costs are still outrageous. And that's me finished with this game for a while. I'm taking a break. I have had a fucking gutful. I'm not going to say I'm never playing the game again, and I'm not going to say this is the last ever video, but they are the last. This is the last video for a while, and it's the last time I'm playing the game for a while. Why? Well, ever since 1.3 came along, every single aspect of the game, bar one, has become a chore. It's not enjoyable in the slightest. The whole power play thing is a chore. And now, because of these repair costs, you would have to be brain dead to consider even doing the combat-based power play missions, because doing those, you don't get any credits whatsoever. You just get one merit, regardless of whether you destroy an eagle or an anaconda. It's still only one merit per kill. So if you take damage there, then you're not going to make any credits at all that you can put towards sorting that repair bill out. I mean, look, I made 124,000, so I'm still 1.5 million down. So exploration is currently fucked up. So if you want to do exploration, the chances are something's going to happen that will make you wish you hadn't bothered. the integrity costs are probably one. That certainly means that, you know, long distance exploration is out of the question. So power play is just an endless grind, and obviously trading is an endless grind. So the only thing that was left was combat. But now, as you have just seen, doing combat basically means you're going to lose money if you go into a conflict zone. I mean, I have over 8,000 kills to my name. I'm also, you know, combat rank of deadly. Where's me combat stats? So yeah, so 4,907 in bounties and 3,099 in bonds. So that's, I have over 8,000. I think I said 4,000, didn't I, at first? Anyway, yeah, so it's over 8,000. Admittedly only just 8,006, but it's over. And although what I said was I wasn't going to try too hard, I had not got to the stage where I was then stopping trying. But because the conflict zones are generated totally randomly, you have no idea if you're going to end up, you know, making over 1 million, or, you know, and then leave the area because you're either bored with it or you run out of ammo. Or if, as just happened now, you're there for not 5 minutes and a couple of ships, extremely powerful ones, decide to target you regardless of everybody else, and, you know, strip away your shields and damage you down to 45% in a matter of seconds. So, and of course, if that happens and you're in an expensive high-powered ship like an Anaconda or a Python, then there is no question about it. You are going to lose, well, you're going to be losing credits. You're not going to make any. Any credits you make in bounty is just going to be swallowed up in partially paying back the enormous repair costs that you've just you know, incurred. So now combat, the one aspect that was vaguely enjoyable until you're there for so long that you get bored with it, that's now out of the question. So it means that there is nothing enjoyable in the game at all. And there have been a huge number of people who have been complaining about this on the forums. And I, you know, for once I decided to go on there and take a look, and I was rather glad to see that I was far from the only person who was absolutely, you know, beyond outraged with the fact that they've done this. And it was while I was there that I went to a thread on the bug reporting section and encountered a number of posts from moderator Aleksej, and he is the straw that broke the camel's back as far as I'm concerned. Now he, along with any other moderators, will say they don't speak for Frontier, they don't speak for the developers. Bollocks. Just because they're not paid by them does not mean they don't speak for them. They are there acting as Frontier Development's representatives. Okay, they're not paid for it. That's irrelevant. They have Frontier on their avatars there. So although they'll deny it, they do speak for Frontier. So when you get this Aleksej cunt, who spent his entire time in that thread saying there's nothing wrong with the new costs, and then blatantly ignoring people who provided extremely compelling reasons as well as backing it up with their own figures as to why it is outrageous. He would then ignore that. He would then deliberately inflame things. He would barely stop short of hurling insults towards players who didn't agree with him, and basically his attitude right from the beginning was, it doesn't affect me, therefore I don't think it matters. So all of these complaints, according to him, are completely groundless. Well, if that's the case, then why are so many people absolutely up in arms about it? And the other thing is that a point that he deliberately kept missing was that nobody there said the costs should not go up. Because sure, the costs were ridiculously low. And they were so low that you didn't care about getting damaged, because you could easily pay it off. It's the scale of the increase that everyone is outraged about. They've gone up by at least 20 times what they were prior to the patch 4. And 20 times is a ridiculous amount. Now, I said on at least 3 occasions in that thread that a raise of, say, up to 5 times, that would be okay. So in my previous, well, okay, let's use this one. So let's round it down, so it was 1.6 million. Now, that means that prior to this, they would have cost 80,000. And if it was, yeah, so if it was 80,000, then a rise of 5 times would have meant a cost of 400,000. So I still would have lost money, but yeah, disconnections are the least of my issues at the moment. Now I've completely lost my thread. Yes, okay, so I still would have lost money, but that's because that was an absolutely ridiculous foray into the conflict zone. I didn't last fucking 5 minutes. So I think 400,000 for that damage, that's an okay amount to pay. And although I still would have lost money, I could make that back in 1 or 2 trade routes. But yeah, this current one, because I've now lost 1.5 million, unless I can find a monumentally good trade run, that is still going to take me a bloody age in trading just to make back that 1600. Well, after my repairs, or after I handed in the combat bonds, it's now 1.5 million. So to get that back, I have to do, well, let's use the Cubio to Greedgus run. I have to do 3 of those. Okay, I will have made a bit more, but 2 of those would have meant I still hadn't made enough. So that's 24 jumps. And it takes, it's just fucking boring. And the developers are now making it very obvious that they don't care. They don't care about the fact that they have totally wiped out the #1 reason for developing a game in the first place. Not just this one, but any game that has ever existed, and that is for it to be enjoyable. And this game is just not enjoyable in the slightest anymore. I'll say, trading is boring, power play is boring, exploration is now broken, and it has been since 1.3 went live. Here we are now 5 patches later and it's still not working. all of those are also totally unrewarding. You don't really get anything back for doing any of them, and it's just bullshit. The one aspect of it that was, I say, you know, vaguely enjoyable was combat, but now you don't dare do it because you're going to lose so much. Now again, Aleksej's solution, or one of his, actually, yeah, it was about the only solution he ever offered, was take smaller ships. That is legitimately what he said. If you don't believe me, I'll repost the link to the thread where you can see it for yourself. It's posted in the comments of my previous video, but I'll put it in this one just in case you can't be bothered to go back and have a look. But yes, his solution was take a smaller ship because then the repair costs don't cost as much. No, they don't. The amount of kills you're going to get are going to be far lower because you can't do the damage and you can't take the hits, so you're not going to be able to stay there as long. Yeah, seeming it is clearly not the case. So yeah, so you're not going to be able to make the, oh for fuck's sake, so you're not going to be able to make the money in a smaller ship, and you're not going to be able to stay in the conflict zone for anything like as long because your shields are going to go down in next to no time, and you're going to start taking far more damage than you would in one of the larger ones. The other thing is that even though the repair costs are cheaper than, you know, if you're doing a direct comparison to an Anaconda, they have still gone up monumentally compared to what they were. All of the ships, the repair costs have gone up by 20 times what they were. So it doesn't just affect people in Anacondas, it affects people right across the board. And if you are a newcomer to this game right now, and you're going out and you think, okay, I'll try a bit of combat in your Sidewinder, straight away you're going to be into the negatives. You're not going to have enough credits to pay off the damage that you've incurred. And you know, once you take a certain amount of damage, especially in a smaller ship, it's actually cheaper to have your ship be destroyed and buy it again in the you know, from the insurance claims. So, and that does show that it's bullshit. The other thing is that if, you know, the only solution that Aleksej is offering is to take a smaller ship, then what's the fucking point of having an Anaconda or a Python or a Type 9 or whatever in the first place? There isn't one now, unless, you know, your idea of an enjoyable game is to just keep running cargo runs there and back and doing nothing else. Now, I do not know anybody who would find that an enjoyable game. And if you do think that that's an enjoyable game, then my God, you must be one seriously boring fucker. Now, it doesn't stop there. The other thing that Aleksej used as his way of saying that the new repair costs are fantastic is that it's more realistic. Well, realism always has to take a backseat again to enjoyment. In every game you play, if there is meant to be some degree of realism, it again always takes a backseat to the enjoyment factor. It always has. This is the only game where it hasn't. Let's take a couple of examples. Dragon Age. Now if that was realistic, if you went into combat in Dragon Age, the first hit of an enemy sword is more than likely going to kill you. But it doesn't. You keep hacking away at each other until someone's strength gets down to 0 and then you've killed them. I mean, even realism in simulators takes a back seat to make it more enjoyable to play. Otherwise, the difficulty level is far too high. Look at most simulators. So if Aleksej is saying that it's better because it's realistic, then we better start bringing in proper realism throughout the game. So for example, when you're doing repairs, they're going to take about a week to do. I mean, look at all those systems and that I had damaged there. It's going to take fucking ages to repair all that lot. But no, in this, you click a button and bosh, they're all done immediately. How's that for realism? More realism. When you're buying cargo, that's going to take quite a, you know, at least an hour to load it all into your ship. And then when you get to the other end, it's going to take another hour to unload it, and then another hour to load up the new cargo. So you've got to be waiting around a long time for all the cargo to be loaded. There's realism. Another case, if you're going to be taking off, like any modern conventional aircraft, and indeed any modern spacecraft, you have to do flight checks every time. I will be kind towards Elite Dangerous and say that the flight checks that you do when you first start the game, you would then have to do all of those every time before you launch. That's realism. While you're in spaceflight, the flight assist mode wouldn't exist. The rotational correction mode wouldn't exist. So you're going to have to play the game with both of those modes taken out. That's realism. And as you saw when I was docking here, I scraped my way through the hull, or through the access corridor. Now that would have actually, you know, if this was realistic, would have destroyed my ship. A ship blowing up in the access corridor would cause an enormous amount of damage to the station and would probably destroy some, if not all, of the ships that were docked quite close, you know, to that access corridor. So those ships would then explode, blowing up more of the station, and it would end up setting off a chain reaction that would destroy the entire docking station. And because the docking bay area would have been destroyed, it would have then taken out the entire orbiting starport. That's realism. Fuck up the docking and you've destroyed the station and everyone in it. But amazingly, none of those things that I just pointed out are in the game. So realism clearly is not the important thing. So Aleksej's point there is fucking bullshit. Indeed, everything he said in that thread was just fucking bullshit, and it was all he was doing was deliberately inflaming the situation. And the thing is, Aleksej actually does YouTube videos. Indeed, someone linked to one of his videos in the comment section in one of my earlier videos, and he actually was showing something useful. But the thing is, when I saw that video then, I didn't know what a complete and utter, you know, cunt and half Aleksej actually is. He is brown noser supreme, as he's been illustrating in the forums. And now I've got a disconnection while not, you know, doing anything. But to be honest, I could not give a fuck. So, yeah, ever since 1.3 went live, it's stopped being a game. It's become a chore. It's become almost like an unpaid job. And now, of course, as we've seen, now my shield recharging has gone back to what it was. So I've now got to wait for the shield to recharge again. If I had paid my refuel costs, I would now have to repay them again. I can't tell if the combat bonds are still have not been taken off there or not. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, so it's just a thankless task. You don't get anything out of it. No matter how much you put into it, you don't get anything back. Especially in the state now, I'd say 1.3 has removed all enjoyable aspects out of it. If you do power play, you're set for endless grinding. If you don't do power play, well, you got no chance of getting the new weapons, and to date nobody yet knows if they're any good or not, because of course we're still 2 weeks away from the first people being able to get them. But even if you do get them now, so the repair cost means you don't want to be heading out to try them out anywhere. Unless you go to somewhere like resource extraction sites, where then you get bored shitless just waiting for something to happen. So that's there's no enjoyment there. So it's an utter waste of time, and I've just had enough. So, and you know, because I won't be playing it for a while, my reputations with the Federation and the Empire, which took me months to build up, they're all going to drop. So all of that was all for nothing. But I'm at the point now where I'm just past caring, because it's just a fucking joke. The only person who comes out of this quite well is Ian Bell, and the reason he comes out of it quite well is because he had nothing to do with this. He was the programming partner with David Braben when the first Elite game was done. But with that, it was Braben who came up with all the ideas, and Ian Bell who actually did the programming. So Braben was the brains behind it in terms of the ideas, but Bell was the man who had the skill to actually make it real. I think he had a small part to play in Frontier, but from First Encounters onwards, he had nothing to do with it. As far as I am aware, the split between Braben and Bell was not very amicable, and it's easy to see why. I mean, you've just got to look at how Braben is acting with regards to Elite Dangerous, constantly claiming that it's some kind of success, when all it really is an insult to the original game. And I think part of the reason for it is because no one in the dev team has anything like the programming ability that Bell had. If they had someone like him on board, it would have been in a much better state. And I also like to think that it would not have been released in the condition it was. Bell would have insisted that it wouldn't be released until it was finished. So, I mean, I can quite easily picture him seeing, Elite Dangerous and seeing the ever-increasing backlash towards the fucking state of it. He's probably pissing himself laughing over it. and he's probably more than, you know, even more glad than he ever was that he now has nothing to do with Braven. And even at the there's a current like PC show going on, and Braven was there, but he never mentioned Elite Dangerous. He was going on about some new game that Frontier Developments are working on, some kind of roller coaster tycoon type game, and yeah, it's pretty obvious that the reason he didn't mention Elite Dangerous is because he didn't want to have to answer questions about the fucking state of it. So if Braven himself is deliberately avoiding questions about the game, then you know the game is fucked, and you should know by now that it is never going to be the game that we were promised, and it is always going to remain in a completely fucked up state, no matter what they do to it. Now, it could be that in a couple of months' time they'll have sorted out the bugs and everything else, and you know, maybe even introduced another feature. Who knows? They may even finally introduce the passengers feature. I doubt it, but you never know. They might. But even if they do, there is still going to be fundamental problems with it, and every time a major update comes along, whether it's 1.4 or 1.5 or whatever, you know, we're going to be going through this same charade every time. So it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of money. If you are somebody who is considering buying this, just don't waste your fucking money. It's a game that has zero enjoyment factor, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. So yeah, so yeah, anyway, there you go. That's me done. So I don't know when the next video is going to be. I don't know when. I don't even know when I'm next going to play this game. I mean, at this current moment in time, I don't know if I'm going to next play this game. So, you know, like I say, I'm not going to say this is the last video I'll do. I made that mistake before. And I'm not going to say, you know, I'm never going to play the game again. But at the moment, I could not be less interested in playing this game again if, you know, I actually put effort into it. And if I did put effort into it, it would be more effort than the devs have put into the game. So it's just not worth the time or the money. I've wasted over 100 quid on this. I've wasted fuck knows how many 100 hours on this, possibly into 1,000 hours on this. And right now I'm not prepared to waste another penny or another second on it. So yeah, there you go. That's this video done, and that's me pretty much done as well. So this is Commander Aleksej saying go away. Right, one more addition, because I have a feeling someone's going to mention this in the comments. Yes, I did say that, you know, stopping playing the game isn't going to change anything, and, you know, you need to go public with it and make videos of it and take screenshots and everything else. Well, I've been doing that. I've been doing it for 9 months. This is the 173rd video just in this playlist. That's not including the review I did in the PC Gamers playlist or the Twitch broadcasts. So I've done my bit, and I've been doing it for 9 months. So if someone wants to take over my mantle, or if you want to call it that, and, you know, endure another 9 months of endless frustration, tedium and all the other bullshit that this game generates, then they're welcome to it. But I still say go public with it. You know, I still say do videos and show what bullshit this game is doing and what bullshit Frontier developments are full of. But I'm not prepared to do any more at the moment because, as I say, I've been doing it for 9 months and I've had a fucking gutful of it. So, you know, I'm not going against what I said. I've done what I said and I've been doing it for long enough. So, yeah, there you go. That's all I needed to add. So, there you go. That is, this is now our Commander Corsair definitely saying go away.